Joe Siracusa, inaugural professor of global futures at Curtin University, joining us live from Melbourne. Joe, thanks very much for your time. Futures, well, that's a very interesting subject right now. From an American point of view, Joe, what has all this achieved?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Donald Trump had a pipe dream that tariffing the world will give him an opportunity to put the pressure on the Chinese, to equal the balance sheet with everybody else, and to sell himself as an economic genius. None of these things is true. In fact, the last guy that tried tariffs in the 1920s and 30s became a standing joke. So look, it was never going to happen. And anybody who knows anything about tariffs know it wasn't going to happen. I was just amazed that the president has this ability to self-detonate. I mean, it costs people trillions of dollars of their pensions and college funds and all this to prove a point. It's very callous and it's cold. And to me, he caved in at the end because he realized that everything was going against him and it was never going to happen. And I think this is his Kabul exit, in terms of incompetence. He's got half of America railing for his departure. And of course, he is a lame duck president. He only gets one more crack at this. And I think this will in future years become the butt of jokes. I mean, but there's no doubt about it. We are in an economic war with China. There is no smoke, there are no bullets, but there is a war, as a matter of fact. And I've been saying on your show and other shows for the past 5 years, as soon as you issue these tariffs and sanctions, you poison the diplomacy. No one wants to talk to you about anything that's really important, and so you undercut your diplomacy. So at the end of the day, President Trump has absolutely nothing to show for his effort.
And if all of this was really all about isolating China, then why target many other countries, reliable trading allies, with tariffs when that just wasn't necessary? He's lost supporters there where he once would have had support.
Well, one of his people told him that it only works if you tariff everybody at the same time. I'm not sure that's really true, as a matter of fact. What he should have done was got the whole world ganging up on China so that China could play fair in many other ways. I mean, China is playing the victim now, but for years and years it's done what it had to do to succeed. And so, it's a calculation that went terribly wrong. And it gives you an idea. The president is surrounded by people who have some very odd ideas about how the world works. I mean, I just think it's it's just unbelievable that you can stop and start like this and imagine that there's consumer confidence, that people will continue their inventories and hiring people. I mean, who in the world is going to proceed with this kind of uncertainty? Nobody. So what Trump has done, he's hurt his own economy, the North American economy, and the EU is going to go after him now. At the end of the day, the EU and China will drift a little closer together, which is just the opposite of what American foreign policy should be.
And Trump's protectionism, the idea behind all of that is to try and promote production back home and get businesses who have their supply lines elsewhere to set them up in the United States. Now, they may well choose to pause that, as some have done, or may do that never, but because Trump will be gone in 4 years' time. I mean, it begs the question, does he and his administration actually believe still in free trade?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it takes 12 years to grow an olive. I mean, how long do you think it'll be before you onshore or reshore manufacture? It takes years and years to make this thing happen. He knows it isn't going to work, And of course, Trump is playing politics. President Xi is playing for his life and the continuity of the Communist Party. So, I think the Chinese are in for the long haul. And, perhaps Trump will sit down with Xi and he'll cut it down to some reasonable level. But I'll tell you this, after someone's pulled this on me and on the other friendly nations the United States has, I think they're going to have some questions about American reliability in the future. I mean, you're not going to trust a friend who's just hit you over the head with a 2x4 and these incredible tariffs and threaten you with more if you even dare to respond. This looks like thuggery to me and dollar diplomacy or whatever Trump wants to call it. But it's been a failure from beginning to end.
Yeah, and you mentioned where you are. That's Australia, of course, Joe. which had, a trade deficit themselves. The US had a surplus of trade with Australia, and yet Australia still got hit with those reciprocal tariffs. How angry have they been?
They're very angry. Australia has allowed Americans to put airplanes here and spy bases and all kinds of troops. Australia plays a major role in the American defense posture in terms of the Indo-Pacific. And they think, well, this is counted for nothing. They've served in all the same wars since World War I. And what Trump is saying to them, we're not going to treat you any differently than anybody else. In fact, we're not even going to treat you as well as the Russians or those penguins on that island that also they tariffed. I mean, they treated Australians very badly. And as you know, Aaron, there is an election here, and both parties are having great difficulty on figuring out how to respond to Trump without looking too anti-American, because they don't have many answers for themselves, as a matter of fact. So Trump's made the election very difficult.
Well, Joe, I'm glad you mentioned the Penguins, because it is quite hard to find any levity or any humour in all of this, but we do appreciate you bringing some to the conversation. Joe, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.